Hi, this is Lisa with Coping with Yarn. And so today we're going to talk about mental health. Now, there's a reason why I chose the name Coping with Yarn. I've had my own mental health issues, and that's what I really, I've always loved yarn, always, but crocheting really helped me in those times. One time I was having a panic attack at the Dollar Tree. And so, what really helped ground me was going over to the yarn section and holding the yarn and just holding it and feeling it and using some of my, I didn't taste it, but using some of my five senses. Okay, using a couple of the five senses. I was able to ground myself, and it actually helped. So that's why I named my channel Coping with Yarn. So not only am I've had mental health issues, like PTSD and a panic disorder. I am also in the mental health field. So it kind of helps to know, really understand my clients too, because I've been there, done that, and I know what helps me personally. And you know what? God is what helps me every day. I start out my day with reading this Jesus Always. And so instead of, a lot of the times, I think we get on our phones and look at the multimedia first. That's a habit that I think would really help to break, because I think if you're a believer, putting Jesus first thing in the morning, really sets you up for the rest of the day of being able to take on the world. So I'm going to read today. It's March 14th, and this is what it says. I rejoice over you with singing. Open wide your heart, mind, and spirit to receive my richest blessings. Because you are my blood-bought child, my love for you flows continuously from the throne of grace. Look up and receive all that I have for you. Listen and hear me singing songs of joy because of my great delight in you. You can approach me boldly with confidence, trusting that you are indeed the one I love. The world teaches you that love is conditional, based on performance, appearance, and status. Even though you don't believe this lie, the constant onslaught of this message in the media can penetrate your thinking. That's why it's important to spend time focusing on me, soaking in my presence, and absorbing my word. Setting aside time to be alone with me is countercultural, so this practice requires discipline and determination. However, it is well worth the effort. Living close to me brightens your life immeasurably. With me is a fountain of life. In my light, you see light. So it also has some scripture down here, some verses, like Zephaniah 3:17, Hebrews 4:16, Deuteronomy 33:12, and Psalm 36:9. That backs up this message. So not only do I start the day out with this, sorry for my Bible's kind of ugly, but it's well used. I've had this for years. But I read a chapter a day, and which happens to coincide with my church. So right now I'm in Genesis 25. So that starts the whole day out. And that's what really helps me. Also, drinking my coffee and my tea helps me too. So I like the time I get to myself. I get up early. My husband gets up at like 4:30 in the morning and goes to work. But I get up at 6:30 and I get into the Word and I get into this little message from Sarah Young. And I do this before my kids are awake, so I get time with just me and Jesus. And I think that's really important to do. So now we're going to go on to psychological things. The first thing that I want to show you is Psychology Today. So I'm going to turn my phone around and face the laptop. And I'm going to show you how to find a therapist and the kind of therapist that you might want. There's no shame in having a therapist. I see a therapist. I'm actually doing this kind of therapy called EMDR, eye movement desensitization reprocessing. And that is helping me with the PTSD. I no longer have panic attacks. So it's working. Yeah, it's great. Okay, so I'm going to turn it around. Is that even okay? Okay, so I go up here and let's put in, Evan, can you come over here and make sure that this shot is on Psychology Today?
What you talking about?
Let's put in Medford. Oops. No, I don't want emojis.
You say?
Is the... You know what? No, let's do my own Miami, Florida. Okay. And so therapist in Miami, Florida. Can you see up here where it says Psychology Today on my phone? That's what I'm asking. So, you know what? Let's go to Midtown because it says neighborhoods and zip codes.
I don't know what you're talking
Now look in there.
Huh.
Can you see the screen, Psychology Today?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so look, let's see. Okay, let's look at Kate. She does EMDR. Okay, that is amazing. That's the therapy I was telling you about that is great for PTSD. But it's not for faint of heart. Let's just say that. It gets you deep into whatever trauma that had happened, and it can be really scary because you're facing your fear head on. And then all these emotions that you didn't think you had come up. I became so angry. I literally thought I was going to punch a hole in the therapist's office, and I had to stop it. I had to throw down the clappers and just tell her, I gotta stop. I'm gonna punch a hole in your wall, which is kind of funny coming from me. But anyways, okay, so let's click on Kate. Let's see. Oh, she has a free 20-minute consultation. You can go down here and see what kind of insurances that they accept. Dang, if you don't have insurance, that's expensive. Okay. Okay, so she does cognitive behavioral and systemic perspectives. It also talks about, like, each therapist has their own set of strengths and what they are really, really good at. So this lady here, my goal is to empower you to find relief from distress and to help you grow in concert with goals. I specialize in treating a variety of concerns such as post-traumatic stress disorder, addiction, eating disorders, body image issues, bipolar disorder, depression, anxiety, as well as difficulties with anger management, relationships, interpersonal communication, recovery, and relapse prevention. Okay, so everybody has different I always forget the words, but that is my weakness. I always forget. Okay, so let's just say, yeah, she's not my type. Find a therapist. Okay, let's go to Maryland therapist. Oh, let's go to Miriam. She looks like a nice gal. Okay. Okay, so she does psychoanalysis, psychoanalytic psychotherapy, intensive treatment modalities that promote increased self-understanding, symptom relief, and lasting psychological change. As people come to better understand how themselves, they can find new ways to achieve more. Okay, so let's see. Oh, you look over here and see all the insurances that she accepts. And her cost per session is $150. But if you have insurance, like I only pay $25. No, I lied. $50 for mine through insurance. So insurance does help. Sometimes if you have OHP, I think it's free. Oh, it probably is free. Anyways, I'm gonna switch around now. Dun da da da. Okay, so that's it. Also going through some of you, which is really important to some of the believers out there, that you have a Christian therapist. It will say on what they specialize in, it will say Christian counseling or yeah, I think it just says Christian counseling. And so that's how you know. If that's important to you, then you can look it up. And you could see if, like with me, I would not want to work with a male therapist. No offense to males, but I would prefer females, you know. And probably with males too, like if you're a male, sometimes you would, I mean, it doesn't, never mind. I know for some people, the sex of the therapist is really important to make you feel safe and comfortable. And you have to, because you are telling this person all of your stuff. So anyways, yeah. Now I'm looking at my notes. Now we are going on to, okay, so my very, very first video that I ever shot, I am really bad at IT stuff. I erased my video from YouTube and I erased it from my gallery, and I did not know that you can dig it out of the trash. You know, you have 24 hours to dig it out of the trash. I did not know that at the time. I do now. So if I ever make I'm learning from my mistakes. So if I ever make that mistake again, I'll know what to do. Anyways, I talked about suicide and the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. It's 800-273-8255. It's 24/7. It's free and it's confidential, and it's support for people in distress, prevention, and crisis resources for you or your loved ones. So even if you're not feeling suicidal, but say that your spouses or your child, you can call this national hotline, and you can get advice on what to do. So just to let you know, it's a myth that if you ask someone if they are feeling suicidal, that plants a seed in their head to go commit suicide. That's just silly. It's not true. It's an actual way to, like, we're actually trained to ask, like if someone says, oh, I want to commit suicide. If they say that, we're actually trained to say, okay, do you have a plan? If they don't have a plan, they can go to Psychology Today and look up for a therapist. They could even call, the National Suicide Prevention Line. I can't say for 100% sure, but I know that a lot of cities have their own suicide hotlines. I know Jackson County's by heart because he's over there. But anyways, so yeah, you can ask them like where do they have a plan? And if they say, and if it's like an emergency and they have a gun to their head or whatever means, at that point, you call 911 and you let them know and see if they can bring along a mental health therapist too with the cops. I think a lot of times that helps in those situations. Or if you have like at Jackson County, we have our police department in Medford are amazing. And they take mental health training, which is great. Working with their, their clients or not clients, whatever they would call them, but, working with the public. So anyways, if you're international, if you're not from the US, you can type in the computer suicide stop. And that's an international help center suicide hotlines. And it has every country there that you can go click on your country and then you can go from there and talk to someone. So there's a big difference from suicidal ideation and being suicidal. Suicidal ideation might be thoughts so suicidal ideation means suicide ideas or thoughts. So it might just be like something passing, like, oh, I wonder if I jump out in front of this car, what would happen? Or, maybe more self-harm, like you don't want to end your life, but like you have these thoughts of like, I wonder what would happen if I just opened the door and jumped out of a car or, stuff like that. That's suicidal ideation. That's a lot different from being suicidal and having suicidal attempts. So that's a deep subject. Yes, it is. But it's a very important one. And you know what? There's no shame in having mental health issues. To me, it's no different from having a physical health issue. You get help. You go to the doctor. You can even go to your primary doctor and tell them that you are having mental health issues. And at least here, they'll have behavioral health counselors that will come in and talk to you and get you set up. They'll set you up with a psychiatrist. If needed, they'll set you up with, that's another way you can be set up with a therapist as well. And then the psychiatrist or even your doctor can prescribe medications. So I know everybody has their own opinions, but this is my opinion. I think with medications, you know what? If you need it, you need it. Bottom line, if you need it, you need it. I have seen personally people who are completely different when they are on medications and how much it helps them and they can actually function in life. Like with me, you know what? When I was having 5 to 7 panic attacks a day for no I didn't know what was triggering them. My body was just reacting to whatever. And so that's when, I went to the doctor and they set me up with a psychiatrist and everything like that. Okay. I take anti-anxiety and medication. So now I am being decreased from them because the EMDR therapy is working and it's going to the root of the problem of the panic attacks is because of trauma that happened over 20 years ago. And now it's seeping in. And you know what? Sometimes we think that we're okay. And then all of a sudden you are triggered and you just go downhill from that. And it was, this happened to me a couple years ago, and it was really scary. It was very scary. And I'm pouring out my heart here. This is really vulnerable for me, but I think it's worth saying it because it is so important. Mental health is so important. Yes, I did have suicidal ideations. Yeah, they came through my head. I would never do that because you stand back and you think, what would that do to my family? It's horrible. It's horrible. Of the effects, the aftermath, and I wasn't really, so that was a difference. It wasn't a suicidal attempt. It was just suicide ideations and panic attacks and anxiety attacks and depression and just all of this stuff. And it hit me so bad that one day I could not literally respond. And that was the PTSD part. I could not talk. I could not move. And when I did, I mean, it lasted for a few hours. And when I did, it felt like I was moving through quicksand, and it was very scary. Like my body was literally shutting down and like preparing for death. That's basically, everything was shut down. And it was surreal. Like, it was like I was in a dream and wasn't really there. And when I thought, and I could still think, and I could still, like, I was there, I could still think and everything. But it was really hard to interact with my family, and it was really scary. And when I was on the couch, I'm like, I am going to pee my pants if I don't try my hardest to move. I don't want to pee on the couch. That's how bad it was. So I very slowly got up and I moved. I'm a fast person. You've seen how hyper I can be and all that. I was moving so slow, like the sloth, that anyways, I was moving really slow. And you know what brought me out of this funk, of this thing that brought me out? It is so stupid. It's so stupid, but it made me laugh. And then it changed the channel to what my mind was on. This is so dumb. It was this guy right here. So you know my ET that I have in my other videos, my stupid stuffed animal ET that's like 3 feet tall. So my husband, my dear sweet husband, he was like, what the heck is happening to my wife? And so he took ET and the little finger was like this, and he said something like, I came out of the bathroom. No, I didn't pee my pants. I made it. Yay. I came out and he goes, ouch. Or he did some type of ET thing with my doll. And I kind of went, and then it kind of made me laugh. And then I was able to get out of it. Anyways, so ET is precious. No, actually, it's a love-hate relationship. E.T. was actually the first movie that I saw in the movie theater. I was like 5 years old. And it scared me, but then I got obsessed with it. So I have all this E.T. I have an E.T. pillow. I have E.T. socks. I have an E.T. shirt. I don't know. Yeah, here. Stay weird. That's me. Anyways, I tell you all this to say that you're not alone, especially when the pandemic hit. Hello, the mental health, like, it increased, and I don't think the media did a very good job at showing how much suicide rates had gone up. Like, come on, people. You know, we not only have to worry about the sickness that is killing some people, but we have to worry about suicides happening because people lost their jobs, because people were isolated. Isolation is the worst when you have depression. Kids, I work with kids. Kids' mental health went up and their mental health problems went up and increased big time. Anxiety and depression out of these little ones, that's so sad. And so that's why I'm here today, in bearing my past, my embarrassing, you know, it can be a little bit embarrassing, but it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. Seriously. Especially now. Like, I don't know anyone who has not had, like, depression or anxiety. Just saying. Okay, so I'm going to show you, besides God and my family, my precious family that was there for me. So, my dog, Happy, funny name, huh? My dog, Happy, really got me through that when all I wanted to do was lay in bed and cuddle with something. Hold on, I cuddled with this thing. I know, he's furry. I haven't given him a bath in a while because of my back. I hurt my back and yeah. But he looks like an Ewok. I even dressed him up like an Ewok for Halloween once. But this thing, he loves me so much. Do you love me, Happy? Oh, you do. He loves me so much. And he loves cuddling with me. He thinks he's a lap dog. And so he was glad to let me spoon him. I spooned him. And he was glad. Oh, you smell my coffee breath? Pew. You don't like my coffee breath? Anyways. Pets. If he wouldn't pee on stuff, he would have been a really, really good emotional support dog. Like, if he was more trained. Because one time, I brought him over to my friend's house. And because he went over by the cat litter. The cat litter tray or whatever. And he's like, and he just lifts a leg right there. No. One time I took him in to PetSmart and he tried to pee on a costume in the store. So he's not very trained in public. But at home, he's an angel, aren't you? Are you my little angel? Blech. I know you are my little angel. Just don't lick my lips because you got poo-poo lips and I don't want poo-poo lips. Nope. Okay. Say goodbye. Bye. Oh, here comes my other dog. Okay, this one. This is Happy and this one is Dexter. And he's like the young pup. And he's very needy. Why do you guys have to lick me on the lips? Gross. I love you, but don't lick my lips, okay? I don't want poo-poo lips. That's what I call it. Sorry if it's gross, but I call it poo-poo lips. Because you know how gross dogs can be. But I love them, and they got me through a tough time. Or, not Dexter, but... not Dexter. But Happy did. We didn't have Dexter back then. But Happy made me happy. Okay, everybody, I love you. Sorry, but not sorry to bare my soul. If you judge me, oh, just kidding. I would, but yeah, get off my channel. Just saying. Okay, love ya. Bye.